สวัสดีค่ะ Good afternoon, everyone, and warm welcome to our webinar, Innovation Banking and ESG Bond for Sustainable Future. And today I am Nun Surachana Pakawaliton from Thailand Nordic Countries Innovation Unit, or TNIU. I will be hosting you in this session. And this week, TNIU is celebrating our first year anniversary. That's why we organized this TNIU week in collaboration between 4 Thai embassies in the Nordic, Denmark, Finland, Sweden, and Norway. And each session will highlight the outstanding innovation aspect of each Nordic countries, while also addressing or connecting with the sustainability challenges in Thailand. And today is the last session of our event when we will be focusing on Finland. That's why we also honored to have Her Excellency Ms. Chawana Thang Sampan, the Ambassador of Thailand to Finland, with us, together with Kun Gosin Phonmang and Kun Sutkanung Nivedrat, the counselors of Thailand embassies in Finland that help us with organizing an invitation of this webinar. So thank you very much. We would like to also invite the speakers and the experts from Finland to share the case study as the leading expert in this area. And we are Thailand, we can also exchange and learn from and grow this market together as a global network. So to intro about the speaker, we are very honored to host the panel featuring from Thailand. We have Dr. Somjin Sornthaisan, the president of Thai Bond Market Association, and Ms. Jamjan Sirikanjanawong, head of debt capital markets at the Bank of Ayutthaya, which is the leading bank in Thailand. And we also have Mrs. Maud Johans. I'm sorry if I pronounced correctly. Okay, thank you. Head of customer service and marketing support of the Bank of Åland. And the bank holds the position of Finland's best private banking second year in a row. Also, we have Mr. Carl Johan von Uxkull from Taxonomy. Taxonomy is an impact tech enterprise investing to major and help tackling climate change, which is the leading startups from Sweden. So we also see collaborations here among Nordics as well. That is really interesting. And that's why this session will help very much to develop ecosystem of financial tools in both, especially Thailand, that we are coming here to learn more from the Nordic as well. So, okay, thank you for letting me do very long introductions. We would like to go through the sessions and let our guests, maybe since we are the Thai embassy, we would like to invite our guests from Finland to introduce yourself and also your organizations and what you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I represent Ålandsbanken, which is a small bank in the Nordic region. I'll just give you a brief introduction into our operations so you know where we come from and why we engage ourselves into climate change. Right, so Ålandsbanken has been around for a little over 100 years. We've been a bank focusing mostly on relationships with our customers. We're a regional Nordic bank and asset manager in the Nordic countries. We consider Ålandsbanken to be a responsible choice. Ålandsbanken employs around 900 employees in the Nordic region, mostly in Sweden, Finland, and on the Åland Islands. The reason why we take such a great interest in the climate change originates pretty much from the sustainability issue because of where we are based in the middle of the Baltic Sea. Originally, we engaged pretty much, and we still do engage pretty much in the Baltic Sea and the conditions of the Baltic Sea, which is one of the world's most polluted seas. So that's where we sort of come from with our climate interest. Then, of course, being with our operations in the Nordic regions, social responsibility is also very important to us. So our roots are very strong in the Åland Islands. As I said before, we've been here for a little over 100 years. We're solid and strong, but we are a smaller bank, which is not very well known, not even in Sweden, but quite well known on the Åland Islands. We take a big interest in the social society here on the Åland Islands. Moving on to our sustainability work. The base for our sustainability work is pretty much a global collaboration. We base it pretty much on regulations and initiatives around the world. We follow our climate strategies based on the rules made or the expectations from the Finnish government. So this is where we sort of find our guidelines. We also follow the regulations, of course, given in the EU and also with the Paris Agreement. We've signed up for some initiatives, global initiatives. We've signed up for the UN UNEP FI, which is an economic initiative within the United Nations, and also for the Net Zero Banking Alliance, which strives to be for the world to be net zero by 2050. Our sustainability strategy has 4 pillars that we sort of lend or lean on. The first one being responsible investments, and then responsible lending and social responsibility and environmental responsibility. We can't do responsible investments and responsible lending without the social responsibility and the environmental responsibility included in those pillars. So they all sort of pretty much connect together, all these 4 pillars that we work with sustainability in our organization. Our climate strategy then was set a couple of years ago, and they are determined in line with the Paris Agreement and also with the Finnish expectations. So it's about reducing the CO2 emissions, and we strive to reach climate neutrality by 2035 and net zero by 2050. And as well as this climate strategy, when we've worked with UNEP FI, we look through all the 17 SDGs. And as you can see, we can't sort of really find our way through all the 17 SDGs. But when we do this analysis with the help of the UNEP FI, we find that these are the areas that we are actually, that we have an influence in. And the only one, when you look through these ones that we have an impact, the only one that doesn't directly connect to climate is number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. That's a little bit, very much in brief about Ålandsbanken. And I'll just pass on to the next one. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Maud, for your presentations. And yeah, we would like to also hear more of how this is the big picture of Ålandsbanken. We would like to hear from Carl a little bit more of how do you work together with Ålandsbanken to get to the customers and the retail, and how to make the vision becomes real.
Yes. Thank you very much. So very briefly, my name is Carl-Johan von Yxkull. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer of Doconomy. And as mentioned, we are an impact startup located out of Sweden. clearly Ålandsbanken was our first partner that actually got to the idea initially. And I would like to start sharing a video, and I hope you can share it for me with the sound, because that gives a really good introduction to what this partnership is all about and what it has led to.
Just a moment, I'm sharing it now.
The credit card, an innovation from an era of economic growth and increased living standards globally. It made consumption fast and reliable. But accelerated consumption came with a cost to our planet, with pollution linked to careless overconsumption aggressively triggering climate change. And sometimes even the greatest innovations need to return to the drawing board. In 2019, Taxonomy introduced a global standard for environmental impact calculations through a revolutionary API solution, providing transparency and accountability to banks and financial institutions. More importantly, reshaping the credit card as a tool for conscious consumption globally. Based on an innovative methodology developed in partnership with the Bank of Åland, the calculated carbon impact of each transaction was now visible to all cardholders.
The credit card is being reinvented to become a vehicle for conscious consumption. This is part of a bigger shift today, redirecting the financial industry towards alignment with urgent and necessary carbon reduction targets.
The idea sent ripples throughout the financial industry and consequently propelled their commitment towards sustainability. By 2022, Taxonomy's Impact API is used by global banks in 33 countries, processing over 1.5 billion transactions and empowering over 500 million credit card holders to measure and understand their impact every day.
We're committed to building a sustainable and inclusive digital economy and believe technology and innovation play a critical role. We're pleased and honored to be partnering with Taxonomy to empower today's conscious consumer.
Together, it's time to break the spell of mindless mass consumption and enter an era of transparency and accountability. Long overdue.
As you could hear in that video, clearly Taxonomy together with Ålandsbanken was spearheading in order to support ways to address climate change. And since this video was recorded, actually there has been even more acceleration of our activities in order to inspire consumers, inspire banks, and educate and activate consumers around the climate topic. Just right now, meaning in September 2023, we are now at over 90 bank customers around the globe. We are present in more than 40 markets and have an extensive reach of theoretical consumers. And everything we're trying to do is to basically support the bank to find a language and a way to support the bank consumer to take action. And as you can see on this very brief slide, it's more to try to bring the perspective of the actual solution. So within the bank app, the consumer is able to see his or her carbon footprint, is able to benchmark that carbon footprint with regards to country averages or averages within the bank or other type of benchmarks, but then also a way to take action and to make sure that leading the consumer to various banking services and various ways to engage around, could it be different type of climate investments, etc. So this is a very, very exciting sector. And further to that, we are currently in the development phase of an SME carbon calculator in order to help the banks to address the SME customer portfolio. So this is all a very, very fast emerging space, and we are very proud and very thankful to the support and the innovative approach from Ålandsbanken who actually triggered it to start with. So that's the intro. I'm sure we will have a broader conversation later on, but now back to you.
Thank you very much, Carl. for your presentation. It's kind of make us see how brave the Erland Bank can take the step, and also very much reversing how we as a consumerism world try to make people into, but to more limited, or to think about our impact, not just only about credit or how much we can spend. That is a very brave approach. And in Thailand, we also have Dr. Somjin. He is leading the organization called Thai Bond Market Association, which we also start first with the corporate side first to motivate them, and then if the corporates can establish in this market more, we believe that the retail or the B2C market will also grow in this financial sector as well. So Dr. Somjin will give brief introductions about ESG bond market in Thailand as a big picture.
Okay, thank you very much, Nun. Okay, let me share my screen. So I'll let you know that in this 5 to 7 minutes or so, I'll try to give you a picture, starting from the larger picture of Thai financial market, and then go to Thai bond market, and then to green bond market. Our organization is a self-regulatory organization, or SRO. We are mandated by the SEC to oversee the Thai bond market, especially the secondary market. Our mission is to ensure a fair and efficient bond market. We are also acting as a bond information center and the development of the market. Some of our main products, which we try to enable the market players to utilize the bond market efficiently. If we look at our key market participants, firstly, it will be the investors. So we have this me bond and I bond. I bond come first, whereby we provide the system, the information for the professional investors, institutional investors to see the information of the bond market, including the analytical tools. And then lately, we also have introduced Me Bond, an application on a mobile phones that individual investors can come and see the bond information, and they also can put their portfolio into this app, and then they will see the cash flows they can expecting from their portfolios. Then the lower one, the smart funding solution, is an solution that we provide to the issuers in the market, because some of the issuers may be medium firms or smaller firms. So this program will help them see their obligations in interest payment and capital payment as well. And the last one, but not least, the lower right-hand side, the electronic book building system. This is to help the issuers and investment bankers, the underwriters, to do their book build. All right. Now, I'll bring you to see the financial market of Thailand. This is the one I borrowed from the Bank of Thailand. You can see that when we govern or oversee the stability of the financial market, the Bank of Thailand, we look at the money market, the capital market, foreign exchange market, derivatives market. Then within the capital market, we have the equity market and the fixed income market. For the equity market, it is overseen by the Stock Exchange of Thailand. Then the right-hand side, the fixed income market, this the primary market will be overseen by the SEC itself, and then the secondary market is our duty to see. Okay, and this is the size of our Thai financial market. So if you look at this table, you can see that our bond market has a size of 16.7 trillion baht. So our Thai baht is 35 baht a US dollars at the moment, and our equity size is 19 trillion, and the bank loan is 18.5 trillion, and overall is 54 trillion baht, or perhaps approximately slightly less than 2 trillion US dollars. And then you can see that these three are approximately equivalent to our GDP of a year. So you may see that our Thai financial market has these three important pillars whereby the government and the corporates can finance their mission, their activities, either by bonds. And of course, that's the place where the government can come to raise money as well as the corporations. But the equity and the bank loan will be the place for the corporations. Now, if we look into the Thai bond market with the current size of 16.7 trillion baht approximately, mainly the largest issuer of bonds is the government. Approximately half of this size belong to the government, and then the Bank of Thailand also share another 15%. Then the corporations, Thai corporates, issue approximately 30% of the bond in the market. Now we will look into the ESG. Out of that, 2.5 trillion baht. Oh, I'm sorry. Out of that, approximately 5 trillion baht, or 30%, which is the corporate bonds. There will be 217 trillion baht of corporate bonds issues, which is categorized into ESG bond. But that is approximately 1/3 of the ESG bond. And of course, when we say ESG is more than this set is a bigger set than just green, because E stands for environmental, or in the recent word that we use is green bond. And then S is for social, and G is about the governance. So in all this, there are 217 billion baht of corporate bond. And then for the government is the larger issuer, which is about 426 billion baht. Okay. Along the way, we have the infrastructure of the green bond market, mainly was sponsored by the SEC of Thailand. We have this green bond regulatory guideline in 2018, and that was the first year that we start to have our green bonds issue. And then social and sustainability bonds guideline. And then along that time, we have the issuance of the green bonds, the sustainability bond, the sustainability linked bond, and also we have social bond issued by Krung Si Bank, which we have our representative Kun Jam Chan, which may talk a little bit more about it later on. And that's how we started. All right, and I think perhaps we also care about how the sense of urgency we have. I think Thailand also commit to this problem of the climate as well. As you may see, Kun Waravut, our Minister of Natural Resource and Environment, while in COP27 to bring the carbon neutrality in 2050 and the net zero greenhouse emission in 2065. All right. I will just talk about 2 slides more. So in the ESG bond market in Thailand, we have this green bond, social bond, and sustainability bond will cover either green or social, and the combination of these two. And then the later category of this group of bonds is sustainability linked bond, whereby there is a KPI linked to the performance of the issuers. If they achieve certain KPI, they can pay less, and if they don't achieve, they will have to pay more. Okay. These are some numbers of the bonds issuance since 2018. We can see the growing issuance of all these bonds, and last year was the high of approximately 220 billion baht issues, and this year for the first 8 months 136 billion. This may bring some picture of the green and the size of the sustainability bond. You can see that on the left hand side, the government sector, mostly the bonds issued by the government was sustainability bond, and this happens to relate to the COVID-19. Because of the COVID-19 in 2020, our government has to finance and subsidize the society by issuing this type of bond. And if you look at the corporation, corporate investment grade bond issue most of them in the green category to transform their operations. And on the right hand side is the maturity of these bonds, and you can see that if it is green, the maturity will be approximately 3 to 10 years. But for the sustainability, it could be much longer. It could be longer than 10 years. And one of the reasons would be because of the issuer, because government is the main issuer of the sustainability bond, and therefore with the credibility of the government, they can issue with a longer period. All right, I think I shall stop here first, and so that we can go for a second round later on.
Thank you very much, Dr. Somjin, yeah, for giving the big picture of Thai financial markets. And we would hear more in details of how bank take this action in the ESG bond market. So we have a case study of Krung Sĩ Bank that they will talk about their vision as a bank, and also, yeah, focusing on the ESG bond.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamjan from Bank of Ayutthaya, or you can call Krung Sĩ. We are part of the MUFG Global Financial Group, and I'm very pleased to share with you the development of ESG bond market in Thailand. And of course, very much appreciate the Royal Thai Embassy and TNIU for having me today. For Bank of Ayutthaya or Krung Sĩ, that's what I mentioned. We are part of the Global Financial Group, and we realize the urgency of the bank involvement to help address the climate action and realize our role in supporting Thailand's national agenda on sustainable commitment. So we have promoted green activities, sustainable finance activity by working closely with our parent MUFG and also with the local regulator as well, including Thai Bond Market Association, as Dr. Somjin has already highlighted in terms of the bond market volume. At the same time, under Krung Sĩ aspiration, we aim to achieve the decarbonization at our own emissions by 2030 and through our financial service by 2050. We have many financial products to serve to our client that we will elaborate more in our next slide. And this is to support our client as well toward their decarbonization pathway. And at Krungsri, we are fortunate enough to have been widely recognized by public for our effort to conduct business in alignment with the UN SDG. And we have done so many activities over the past several years in addition to sustainable finance product. As you can see here, starting from year 2018 that Dr. Somjin already mentioned, and 18 as well, we conduct the Krungsri Zero Waste activity to our employees. In 2019, we have issued the gender bond or the woman entrepreneur bond, the bond that support the SME that have the woman as the leader. And we get the support from IFC on this particular agenda. And 2021, we also, as part of the active bank role in the ESG commitment, we join force in the carbon market to promote the carbon credit activities in the domestic market. And last year, to save the sea, we also support the stock exchange of Thailand on the well project in order to promote the circular, and this year that we again issue US dollar 400 million blue bond. This is to support the financing and as support and help the climate action and for sustainable ocean health. And this slide, if I may add in terms of the Thai financial sector board overview. This shows the many key ESG activities and initiatives by Thai financial sectors to support the ESG journey. Dr. Somjit already mentioned that we have in May 2021, the Thai SEC issued the sustainability. We are seeing the transaction first sustainability linked bond into the domestic Thai market from Thai Union and the global seafood processor as the leader. And for Thai Union, we also know that they also have the big operation in Nordic country as well. And from that day until now, there are, as you can see from this slide, there are many activities. And even like for the APEC 2022, where Thailand was the host, it's great to see that normally we only see the APEC that focus on the trade activities, but this time sustainable finance become the main topic and has been highlighted in the APEC discussion in Thailand. For this year, the key activity that Krungsri has been part of is to strive more green activity, and we are working with the Bank of Thailand hosting Krungsri Business Talk, addressing the latest announcement in terms of the Thailand Taxonomy. That pretty much, I think, is in line with EU Taxonomy. We have CBI as the country advisor to the first phase of Thailand Taxonomy that's focusing on the energy and transportation sector. And another development that I would like to highlight, and Dr. Somjit already may further elaborate, is on the CMDF fund support on the more green activity that will help incentivize more corporate to come to domestic bond market. So for this slide, it will present the cooperation from regulatory bodies that help drive ESG journey in Thailand. And from the left-hand side, you can see the Ministry of Finance of Thailand issued the first sustainability bond in 2020. The initial issuance size of only 30 billion Thai baht, where Krungsri was part of the structuring advisor and the book runner of the transaction. With the good support from ESG dedicated investor, the volume of sustainability bond issuance now exceeds Thai baht 57 billion. This is the use of proceed type. And in April 2021, next year, the year follow on the successful launch, this sustainability bond was also listed on the Luxembourg exchange as the symbol of the green. And in the middle, there has been the collaboration effort among key regulators that join up for the joint sustainable finance in Thailand, with an aim to drive key strategic initiative for the foundation of the Thai financial sector. The things that I think worth mentioning is on one of the key initiative is on the development of the practical taxonomy that has been complete and successfully launched in July this year. And this one is an incentive program that Thai BMA has been working with the Capital Market Development Fund to incentivize and mobilize the high volume of ESG bond issuance in Thai market. This aim to support the expense incurred from the second party verifier, auditors, and ESG bond rating expenses, where the grant will be up to 2 million baht for each issuers. We would hope to see more and higher volume in the ESG bond space with this incentive. And this one also show Krungsi Sustainable Finance Instrument that if we offer to our customer, I believe in Thailand we have all ESG products similar to what we are seeing in European countries, including green bond, sustainability bond, social bond, and the KPI linked one, sustainability linked bond that issued by Thai Union, Indorama, BTS, and SCG Packaging. For the transition finance, this will be the very new to Thai financial market, and we will be further explore under the Thailand Taxonomy and the new Thai SEC regulations. Thailand will focus more on the transition financing to allow the bio industry corporate to move forward to the greener activity. Maybe I pause here first and come back to the second round of the question. Yeah. Okay.
And for Thailand, maybe I would like to ask a little bit more, as I'm also Thai. We see that there's different types of bonds and also, but as like, for example, the agenda, like the climate agenda in Thailand is very crucial as we are one of the most vulnerable countries and agricultural countries as well that will affect from climate crisis. Is there any other strategies or initiative that banking is playing crucial roles in this accelerating the pace of climate resilience or something that's focusingly on this area?
So I think that Khun Nun has mentioned the threat of the climate change to our country in the bigger picture. If we're talking about the picture here, I think that the example of what I have presented about the big bond issued by the government to solve the problem of the COVID-19 has presented that our bond market or our financial market are quite ready to support the important things that can happen. And including if we talk about the corporations that want to transform themselves, actually I do have a few information on the investor side that we see that the investors are quite keen to invest in these ESG bonds, and not only from the local market, but also from the foreign investors as well. And if I may, I'll share a little bit about the investor structure here. So if you look at this page, it is on the ESG bond holdings in Thailand. On the left-hand side, you can see that these 300 plus billion baht bonds are held by 4 major group of investors: the pension funds, banks, the insurance companies, and foreign investors. And if we look at the right-hand side, we can also see big institutional investors, again, insurance companies, pensions funds, the banks. But one observation probably is about the foreign investors, that foreign investors are not keen in corporate bonds. And this is, I think, is the nature of the foreigners, whereby they are more comfortable with our government issues, and also because the government issues are larger, and therefore you can find better liquidity in the secondary market. But on the right-hand side, we have this co-op, and this cooperation, the saving cooperation in, for example, state enterprise, and in many organizations, that they also keen on the corporate bonds market, which are the investment grades. And then banks also are big players here, and some of the mutual funds company. So to answer Kun Nun question about the threat, I think that in a way the bond market are there to support any initiatives or efforts that want to work on that. But of course, I have to admit that for the time being, the investors, if given the same interest rates, they probably would love to invest in the ESG bond, but the rate has to be competitive. They still are looking for the dollar return or baht return as well. Yep, that's my initial answer to this.
Also talk a little bit more on the Finnish side as well. Like, I think you are a very mature market. I also wonder what is your challenges or something that you are facing now with your ESG bond market, and what is your specific sector that you are looking into to support the government or the country's strategy to improve in the ESG?
The main challenge, we're actually at the moment, we're trying to sort of go through the different sectors that we are looking into. Of course, we need to offer interesting products for our customers that they want to invest in. In Finland, there's a big hype around renewable energy at the moment. So we need to find products to offer our customers there. And they have to, of course, be in line with our climate strategy, which requires a lot of client engagement from our part. So, and we need to set targets that are in line with our climate strategy for those products as well. And not only with the investment products, we also need to diversify our financing for different sectors, and what projects would we like to support when granting loans and so on and so forth. So that's an ongoing work in progress, I'd say, on our part, that we sort of need to look into more details. And as time goes by, our data develops all the time, and it becomes more and more specific, and we need to be able to adjust along with the more findings that we have along the way. So that's it's a lot of work. That's not traditional banking work as such, but we find it's very helpful with all we find the regulations quite helpful in sorting out what we need to do to be in line with our own climate strategy and governmental strategies for the Nordic countries.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so you're still working very closely as well with regulations. And I think in Thailand as well, we also have to work very hard with the regulators to align the concept with the banking industry with the country strategies. So we may hear a little bit more about from Kun Jamjan.
Thank you, Kun Nun. And pretty much in line with what Johan just mentioned, I think that the key regulatory bodies need to work closely with the private sector as well. And what I would like to show here is the development on the Thailand Taxonomy that is part of the joint collaboration effort among the public and private sectors. There are the group of 13 organizations that drive toward the successful launch of this standard in order to ensure that we have the standard, we can standardize the green activity, or what can we classify as the brown industry that would need to transfer into the greener, or some of the transaction that the industry need to phase out. Similar to what Johan mentioned, this is not a traditional bank anymore. And when we need to provide any kind of lending or any things that come to the discussion, we will talk about whether what sort of the use of proceeds that you will go, the company will use. And if it's like the green alignment, we may consult with the Thai BMA whether it will be qualified as the fund, I mean, under the grant scheme or not, under the CMDF and Thai BMA joint effort program, so that this can be the something that incentivize the issuers to come to the domestic bond market more. We also need to understand client deeper, not the previous traditional lending that we just know them, the ratio, the debt to EBITDA. But now we will check with them whether this transaction, how much you will expect in terms of the carbon emission per the new investment. So this is something of the new era that we need to think of, the more green activity. And why I mentioned this, because this is the Thailand Taxonomy description that we align with the EU taxonomy. And I would say that it's pretty much for what we will highlight is on the green and amber activity that should like align with the 1.5 degree decarbonization pathway. So this is something that when we support the transaction, we would hope that it should be greener activity more in our balance sheet and less the red zone here. And this is, I think, the direction from the regulatory body in order to set and to support the country to achieve our net zero target as pledged at the COP26. Yeah.
There is a questions from the ambassador.
Can I ask one question? My name is Shawana Than Samphan, ambassador of Thailand to Finland. I just wonder, but first of all, thank you for the presentation for all speakers. You guys are doing very well. But I would like to know that if Thailand we have our own Thailand taxonomy, while EU have EU taxonomy. So how can you ensure the standard of assessment when you issue the ESG bonds, and how you synchronize with each other if you want to sell the ESG bonds in like European market? How will you compare or ensure the reliability of these ESG bonds? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. And I would say that this is a very, very good question to me too, because when we discussed in the previous transaction, when we first explore the ESG activities and the ESG bond, I would say there are many types of definition and there are different country interpretation. So the taxonomy will come as the important things to pay. As when we for Thailand, when we establish this Thailand taxonomy, we get the fund support sponsored by IFC, and the CBI is the key consultant to our project. CBI will ensure that the definition will be in alignment with EU taxonomy and also ASEAN taxonomy as well. And when we issue any transaction in Thai bond market, the additional person or the rubber stamp that we will have is the external reviewer, similar to credit rating agency. Like here we have in Thailand, the very famous one will be DNV, the Oslo-based external reviewer or Sustainalytics. Those will be the one that provide a kind of opinion whether this in alignment with the international standard or not. And in our financial context, there will be International Capital Market Association as the one that control and provide the green bond principle or social bond principle. So we need to ensure that our transaction is of each of the transaction will have the rubber stamp from an external reviewer to ensure that this alignment with the international best practices.
Okay. ขอบคุณค่ะ Thank you. Yeah, talking about the external reviewer or people who measuring the impact also in corporate levels or individual level, I would like to go to Doconomy a little bit about your initiative with the bank. And also I know that you are operated in 40 markets on tracking impact calculations, and you're quite a leading in this part. But what do you see as the main challenge you have right now? Or you also, I see that you are going into tracking the SME as well. And
thank you. It's a really good question, and I think it's a question that we discuss a lot internally. And to start with, I think, as you say, you know, the government plays a role, corporates will play a role, and consumers will play a role. And I think technology will be obviously a great way to support the whole transition. And I think the whole collaborative approach as well. I mean, we work with our bank partners, but we also work with the likes of UN, with WWF, with the MasterCard. Now we actually announced a partnership with Boston Consulting Group as late as yesterday. And the whole idea or the driver for us is to making sure that we gain as much of a partnership approach to resolving it, because there is no one recipe for success. One thing that I wanted to add, and we did a consumer study in Asia. So Thailand was one of the countries, but I think it is interesting because it highlights the consumer interest. According to our survey, which we conducted earlier this year, 45% of consumers in those 6 countries, of which Thailand is one, Malaysia is one, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, and I can't remember now the 6th country, but regardless, so 45% of consumers tend to be interested in understanding their personal carbon footprint. And they also, out of those 45%, roughly 80% would see the bank as a key, you know, agent of change, and you know, to provide different type of incentives to the you know, the consumer. And I think it's interesting to hear about, you know, the green bonds and how those products could also to become, you know, more suitable for consumers, because that's how the bank could actually become that change agent also for the consumer, and not only for the corporations or investment managers. But I think, you know, we see this evolving pretty quickly at different paces in different parts of the world. Nordic countries might have been early out of the blocks a few years ago, as spearheaded by Ålandsbanken. But now it's great to see how many countries are picking up, and that is possibly also helped by, I mean, we mentioned COP before. Now it's COP in Middle East now in November in Dubai. You know, last year it was in Glasgow. That is also driving understanding and engagement in those countries. We have the Climate Week in New York coming up next week with the opening of the UN Assembly So I think there are a lot of things happening around, and I think my core or key point is that we can only become wise and support this transition by collaborating.
Well said, Carl-Johan. Can I just add to that having been around for a few years with the Ålandsbanken, it is quite different now the way that we see banking industry working together, tackling these challenges, and that's very great to see.
I add a little bit about the Thai BMA role in trying to support the issuing of green bonds. Actually, we, as a bond information center, we have a platform that provide all the regulations about the green bonds in our website, and we also do the green indexing, the ESG index. That is also available on our website, and therefore we try to educate the market, because as Kun Jamjan has talked about the fund, the 100 million baht fund from CMDF, what we think is most difficult is from 0 to 1, from the one who have never been issuing the ESG bond to start with, and we want to take away the hurdle, the cost, the extra cost from the external reviewer away from them, so that they can test, they can try, and that is starting this July, and we see a few organizations interested in, and so let's see that how this will go on, and we also support this by setting seminars. We have done once in June, and we'll do another one in this coming November for the potential issuers.
Okay, thank you. Actually, in my opinion, I think it would be very costly if we have to depend on the external audit or something to make sure that this ESG bond is really have the good positive result for the climate, and it would be more convenient or more comfortable to every size if we have only one standard. So, but I don't know whether it's gonna be possible. You have to consult in the COP or in the IP. Yeah, I can't remember the name exactly. But how can my opinion is for the economy to if you are able to think about any idea to make some guidelines in order to make sure that all the ESG bonds can follow the same standard of assessment, or something that can help the client or the customer know for sure that this is the real business that can fight for the climate, or can make positive result to our climate. It would be good for everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, and that's absolutely a really good point. That's our vision, to be able to set that standard, and we're working on an idea and a concept around the greenhouse gas protocol for consumers. As you say, the market is screaming for a standard. I think it might take a bit of time, but completely with you, and thank you for trusting in us in that. So thank you very much.
You.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. Actually, we have a lot of more questions, but I think that the time is about to end. So I would like to hear maybe if you have any final words for the sessions, and we cover about standardization challenges, and yeah, it's a way to go for the ESG bond, but yeah, we are learning from each other. So if you have anything to add, please feel free.
Well, may I go first? Yeah, actually, we are here to be a student, and what we have presented is something like a student report, so that we can get some further advice from you. And from what we have learned, I think there are 6 policy areas that can support the bond market, and in this particular issue that we are talking about, is about the ESG bond. And these are what we learned from the CBI, the climate bond initiatives. They summarize that if you want to support the green bond market, you can do the market integrity, which I think in a more normal vocabulary could be the regulatory infrastructure. And then the strategic issuance from the government side, for example, and certain market development, and to improve the risk return profile, the tax incentive, and the boosting of demand. When we look at this framework, we summarize and this will be my last slide. What we have done, I think, is on the market integrity, the regulatory infrastructure by the SEC, by the Bank of Thailand, or the taxonomy, and including us. And then the strategic issuance, as you have seen that the ESG bond market, 2/3 of them are from the Ministry of Finance, and they are still trying to push more. And within the influence of the government, the state enterprises are also encouraged to issue more bonds in this. And we also, with the seminar that we have set, and we have a few agencies from the government and corporations, one thing that we learned is that from the issuer's point of view, when they launch the bonds, it seems that it's not only has financing their transformation or their mission, but it also provide the awareness throughout the organization that it is important to help the global or the society, and that is something I think what thinking about. And then we don't have 3, 5, and 2. As for example, the tax incentive for investing in this, we don't have that yet, but we do have the CGIF to guarantee the bond, though it is not for the ESG bond yet. But yeah, we do have this kind of organization working in Thailand with some issuers as well. And we also see the demand because the important institutional investors such as the GPF and some mutual fund like Kachikon Bank also are the UNPRI members, and some of the agencies banks from Thailand. And one thing that we have added, number 7, which is out of the scope of CBI, it is boosting the demand, the supply. And I think that the fund we asked from CMDF and powered by Thai BMA is one of a special support to boosting the supply. That's something we have done, and I'm open to learn more if you have further advice.
Thank you very much, Dr. Somjin, for this image to finalize and clarify what is the steps and support Thailand will be needed in order for our ESG market to grow. And from now, I would like to also open the chance for audience. If you watch this record and you have any questions, you can pass on through us to the speakers. Use Royal Thai Embassy in Helsinki for these opportunities, for TNIU to host this session. Thank you, the speakers, for very valuable insights, and also the audience for joining us today. If you are interested to know more about Nordic countries and our TNIU week, and you miss other sessions, you can also look in our website and Facebook platform. So please stay tuned for the next update from TNIU. Thank you very much again for today, and hope to see you again. ขอบคุณค่ะ